Substratum, who cares? Let's get into what it actually does. Is it actually going to be implemented in a real world environment? Is it possible? Is it actually going to work, or is it just some unicorn, some fantasy land that we wish to? Stay tuned to find out. Substratum is setting out to accomplish a very important mission, which is to destroy net neutrality. What is that? I mean, we have countries like China, Russia, Iran trying to limit what people can see on the internet and what people are allowed to see. We also have things like here in the US where the internet service providers want to control how much they charge for the content we view, what speeds the content we view should be using. And so Substratum comes to give everybody an equality when it comes to surfing the internet. It makes everything look as if you're running just simply, normal web traffic, your port 80, port 443, your HTTP and HTTPS. That's just talk for web browsing. It makes everything look like if you're just checking out any website. So the cool thing about it is, I mean, how does it use blockchain technology? And how is it useful for us, and how is the cryptocurrency going to be used in this instance? There's kind of a lot to cover. I'm going to try to go as briefly as possible. If you have any questions, just feel free to comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Their white paper is not too long. It's about 23 pages. Pretty decent read. So let's get right into it. Okay. So Substratum, the way it's going to work in three aspects. You're going to have the web hosters, those who are hosting their websites, the web hosting, those who have the content to produce. You're going to have the nodes, which are kind of the middlemen, are going to be transmitting the data from the host to the user, which brings us to the third point, users. Users is the third part of Substratum. And so what's going to happen is web hosters, or not web hosters, those who are hosting websites are going to have the option to purchase Substratum tokens, and Substratum runs on top of Ethereum, so it's a ERC20 token. They're going to be able to purchase Substratum tokens to kind of keep on their website, and the way they are going to be charged, the way their fee scheduling for hosting a website is going to work on Substratum is going to be a pay per click. So they're going to take into account how much processing power is being used on the node. So anything that's hosted through Substratum on a web host is then going to be transferred to the node. The node is going to be any individual, any user. You can be a node, I could be a node, you're a node, you're a node, you're a node, everybody node. Anybody can be a node. It's a very simple application that you just install on your system, and you can immediately start becoming a node. Let's look at an example here. You can see how very it is to use. This is an example just using Mac. You can see you could turn it on and off whenever you'd like. You can decide, it's going to show you how much you're actually making in Substratum tokens. You can also decide a schedule. You can set up a schedule to when you want it. You can see that here they're using China in the example, so it's a premium substrate payout because China is extremely, being filtered. Their internet's continuously being filtered. So you can decide how fast, how much processing power you want to use, how much RAM, how much GPU, CPU. So you have full control as to what the node is doing. Here's a nice schedule that you can set up. You have your account there, and so this node is going to allow you to be the middleman. During off hours, say you have your computer, leave your computer up all night. You will serve as a node, and what the node is going to do is it's going to at random receive. It's going to host. It's going to transfer host information. So web hosting information. It's going to go to the node. And then that node is going to issue it out to the user that's requesting that website. So let's say website YouTube becomes a Substratum host. They buy a certain amount of Substratum tokens, and I am a Substratum node. some user and web user who doesn't need to install anything is simply trying to visit YouTube, let's say from China, and I am the closest node to their location, they will link into my computer, use my computer to then receive the files from YouTube, the website host, and so my computer is going to be transmitting those files over to the end web user. And as a payment for my work, for my computer's work, I'm going to receive a portion of the Substratum tokens that the host is paying, that YouTube in this example is paying. And this is how it's going to flow. It's that simple. The more nodes there are, the faster the network it's going to go. Anybody can work. It works on Windows. It works on Macs. The end user will not know the difference. Just because you're a Substratum host does not mean that people who are not using Substratum will not be able to see your site. That's not true. It doesn't matter. Any end user can visit your website on a Substratum host. Substratum is using both the traditional DNS and using a Substratum DNS. And which is going to find inside of that Substratum DNS, it's going to use your geolocation to locate you and find you the closest node available for you to view that website. So what are some pros and cons about Substratum? All right. So Substratum is focusing, they're saying the way that this is going to work, the way that this is going to be implemented worldwide is by revolutionizing the website hosting industry. They're leveraging the fact that now we're having a new system of fees, a new fee schedule. Users are gonna pay per click. So not users, sorry. The host providers are gonna be paying per click. So it's no longer going to be monthly fees, monthly charges that can amount to thousands and thousands of dollars, like using Amazon AWS servers or cloud-based servers. You can now just host your own content and host your content on a server, sign up to be a Substratum host, buy some Substratum tokens, and pay the nodes per click. For every single time somebody's visiting your website, you are releasing some of these Substratum tokens. But it's hoping that the industry itself is going to blow up, that everybody's going to say, yeah, that's a great idea, let's go into it. And that's a pretty big risk. That's a large wager to bet on. That's like anything, it can be pretty risky, because you have to ask yourself, why would YouTube want to implement this on their website?
How to start a profitable business.
They have millions and millions of users going to their website every single day. So their fees that they pay monthly might be minimal compared to how much they would have to pay if it was per user click. Those are some mathematical equations that you have to take into account. That's realistic. Let's be realistic. The most popular websites like Google, imagine how much traffic Google has every single day. How are they going to be able to use or implement Substratum? Another con that I see is the fact that Substratum is falling behind on their original rule. We were supposed to have nodes available to us by late 2017, early 2008.
That's a scam!
There was a few betas that were released. Some users said that nothing was working, it wasn't working properly. I'm on their website. I don't see anywhere where I can download a node, where I can get my node up and running. So that's kind of a question mark. What's going on? What's the holdup? What's taking so long? Why aren't we able to implement the node traffic already? Why aren't we able to sign up to be nodes? What's going on with that? In their white paper, they stated that by early to mid 2018, and we're already halfway through February, they're going to be releasing stage 2 of Substratum, which is their crypto pay, or their Substratum pay, which is like their credit card or merchant based internet pay, kind of like PayPal, where you can buy something with cryptocurrency or credit cards that gets transferred into Substratum tokens. Those Substratum tokens then in turn get transferred into whatever cryptocurrency the web host provider would like. But again, a con to Substratum is the delay that is currently happening. Hasn't been much release. We're sitting at February 12th today, February 12th, and we still don't have a node. We're almost halfway through 2000. Well, no, we're not close, but we're getting beyond the early stages of 2018. They haven't done phase 1. Supposedly there's been some great tests, everything seems to be working, but for right now we have to use that against them. Their nodes are not available. So what is that? I mean, what are we going to do? How are we going to be able to use it if the nodes are not there? So they're falling behind on their roadmap. As we discussed before, we want to look for projects that are continuously being worked on. Substratum is a project that is continuously being worked on, but they're falling behind their roadmap. There's been some talk for them creating a new roadmap for 2018, and that's going to come out soon. So we're going to have to wait and see. So there's a lot of positives with Substratum, where the idea is really great. They're decentralizing the internet, or the web browsing internet. They're calling it Web 3.0 by allowing peer-to-peer website viewing. So the nodes, from the end user to the node, from the node to the host, kind of peer-to-peer transactions with the websites you're going to be visiting. That's a great idea. That gives a lot of anonymous browsing. That gives us the ability to stop net neutrality, to stop a bunch of things, which is really cool. But again, we have to make sure that this is being implemented everywhere. We need those nodes to get everywhere. If for example there's no nodes in Alaska, users in Alaska are pretty much going to be sluggish anytime they try to visit a Substratum host. So things like that are things that we have to take into account. We have to take all that into account. I personally like Substratum. I do have to clarify and say that I am invested a little bit, very little, into Substratum. I do like what they're doing, their technology. I like the idea. But these are some pros and cons. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't really care what you invest in and what you don't invest in. I'm not here to talk about money. I just want to let you guys know the truth of what I've discovered on Substratum. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Hit the like button, hit that bell, follow us on Twitter to get the latest information. And as soon as the node is available, we'll come back out and we'll let you, we'll do a test run. Thanks for watching.